All right, what's up, everybody? Episode 5, week 3. Can you believe it? It's our third
Yeah,
week. College Guys Talkin Ball.
kind
What's
of
up?
unbelievable.
What's up again? I'm Ethan Cole, along with my good buddy TJ
Yep.
French, and we're here to give you the lowdown, the review of last week. Thursday, we'll give you the preview next week. Let's get into a whole nother week of sports, and let's review what was
Yeah.
just a great week last weekend.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. First, before we get the show rolling, just want to give baseball its own little tribute here. I know it's not over yet. Obviously, we have a few more series to go through, but definitely one of the better MLB seasons I can remember. So many remarkable milestones were reached. Miggy, 3,000 hits. Pujols turns into
I
Superman.
forgot about Maggie.
700 homers. Some incredible seasons. Judge hitting 62 homers. Otani on both sides. Also, the Mariners ending a 21-year playoff drought. Plus, so many other things. I think sometimes, Ethan, we take these things for granted. And,
For
as
sure, for
both of our
sure.
teams are now eliminated, I think we owe it to, go back and remember how fun the season was.
Dude, I noticed your hat's turned backwards. Maybe I
Yeah,
guess it's been turned backwards, but
it's been turned
now
backwards.
now now it's like, all right, I
Yeah.
really don't want the fans to see
Lonnie.
the viewers to see the logo, man.
Yeah.
But man, I couldn't agree more. What a great season. As a former baseball player myself and a fan, man. Sometimes there's seasons that seem like they just drag along, but with all the milestones this year, that really helped put
It was
baseball on
hype.
the
Yeah.
map. And I hope that it's grown the game, and I think I know that it's grown the game for sure. And man, like you said, great season, great baseball, still a lot ahead, but man,
It
let's talk about
was.
let's talk about some football from this past weekend. I'm just going to list a couple games out, man. Tennessee, Bama, USC, Utah, TCU, Oklahoma State, Buffalo, Kansas City, Dallas, Philly. My Falcons won. The Jets beat the
Yeah, it was,
Packers.
it's a great week.
The big house was the big house. Michigan wins big. Are the Giants good? And is Bailey Zappi the next Tom Brady? Dude, like, well, I mean, what's the
uh,
deal in New England? I
I
mean,
know
what's going on?
I know, dude. The Ravens are 3-3. The Bucks are 3-3. The
The
Packers are three and
Falcons
three.
are 3-3.
Falcons are 3-3. But we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, let's. I guess we're not going to talk about that as much as I want to, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like though we have to touch on the division series that just happened,
yeah, I guess. I mean,
the
I guess.
traumatic
I guess.
events.
Should I start? Should you
Yeah,
start?
you can go ahead and start.
All right, man. Well, I guess the right thing to do is
Hold on.
I'm a
First,
Braves fan.
you can take as much time as
Okay,
you'd like
cool. All
to
right.
this.
Well, I'll be
I
fine.
don't know how
I'll
much
try to
you
keep it
wanna.
short and sweet, but I guess I'm a Braves fan. TJ's a Dodgers fan, so I thought about it earlier today. I was like, maybe I should talk about the Dodgers series, and you should talk
No,
about the Braves. But I feel like we would just be just kind of shitting on each other the whole time. So I'll take the Braves, and TJ will take the Dodgers. Like
it'll
TJ
be
said,
quick though. It'll be quick.
I guess I'll start. What can you say, man? The Braves were just to TJ's, happiness dominated until the Dodgers lost later that night. But like TJ said about St. Louis, the Braves, what we call guys, which just the best players did not show up. Combine that with running into a hot team like the Phillies and you lose. And that's what you saw. Braves down in 4 games. You can blame the playoff format all you want, and I've wanted to, talking about how I feel like it's unfair that we've had 5 days off and you have a running train, but you can only do that so much when you have guys like Austin Riley going 1 for 15, which is good for a .067 average, no
Um,
bombs, only on base at a 125 clip. I mean, that's not going to get it done. Swanson 2 for 16. That's good for 125 average himself. 7 strikeouts, including a 4 strikeout. Good old golden sombrero. No homers, no RBIs. And another contributor the Braves expected to have a good postseason, Michael Harris, the second, 1 for 14, .071 with the average, no homers, no extra base hits, no runs. Give the Phillies their credit. Other than game 2, they dominated our pitching from front to back in the rotation and the bullpen. You had guys like Harper, which literally we just said, like literally I just said to you, he had a
yeah.
1.592 OPS, 2 homers, 3 doubles, 5 RBIs. I could go on and on about these guys, man. Let's just say the Braves got dominated. I'm excited for the Phillies series with the Padres. I don't know how much I'll really watch of it. I'll keep in touch for the show, of course, but
Yeah.
it'll be hard to watch. You got to give credit to the Phillies, but Braves just didn't deserve to win this series, and that's what happened. We lost.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of boils down to just missing too much production from last year's World Series team. It's hard to rebound from those things, as we saw with the Braves. I'll keep mine pretty short.
I
Good to
mean,
see the Phillies Padres, and not really. That's a total lie.
yeah, I guess if we weren't the fans of the
It's
teams we were,
yeah.
trust us, we would definitely be probably a lot more excited. But continue,
And
TJ.
I
My
mean,
bad.
it's hard to blame anything else than just lethargic play from both the Dodgers and the Braves. Guys just not showing up. Pitchers, not showing up to their capabilities. Freed goes out and gives up 6 earned. Kershaw gives up 4 earned. It's just, kind of uncharacteristic things. But it's going to be a long, sad, cold winter, for us.
Unless Dallas does good.
Yeah, that's true. As for San Diego though, I mean, they wanted it more when, LA had to go down to San Diego into a park where LA usually dominates. San Diego fans really showed out. They brought that energy that the Dodgers were unable to overcome. And the answer is why I think, the Dodgers were unable to advance simply just, I guess kind of like the same thing with the Braves, just untimely hitting, when they needed to hit the home run, they didn't get it from their
Didn't get it.
guys. And I guess, I'll ask you this question as well. I'm curious to see, what the Dodgers do here in free agency. They have a lot of free agents, a lot of
Well,
players,
we both got
facing arbitration.
shortstop
Yeah.
problems here.
I mean, it's certainly something, we'll keep track of, but it certainly hurts, certainly disappointing for both,
Yep.
franchises just, being absolutely dominated by inferior opponents that, we had beat for so long.
I think it's just a thing you forget as the season rolls along. You forget that feeling that at the end of the season, and I guess in all sports, college and professional, but especially professional, you don't see the same guys. Sometimes you only see guys for a year at a time, and these teams break up. We've got Swanson among some other guys. I'm not big name guys other than Swanson out on the market, and I know you have Turner and Trey Turner and some
Yeah.
other guys out on the
And
market.
Justin Turner too.
I didn't know
He
that
couldn't
actually.
he
So
could
Bo
not
Turner's
return. Yeah.
he'll be back on the Dodgers for the veteran minimum. But
Yeah. I think go ahead
go
and
ahead.
finish up what you're saying,
Okay,
but I was
okay,
just
okay.
gonna say I think we should wrap it up
I was just
here.
gonna ask you before we go ALDS real quick if you could just like let's talk about the format for a second because I think we offer a nice a different perspective. I know I offer a different perspective than I did last
Yeah.
season
I
about it.
mean,
Obviously,
I can't I don't think I can blame it. The way that it is now is to protect these bigger teams to give them that bye, after having a great regular season, winning their
right?
division. Um, you get the days off. I mean, you can never blame that. Your pitchers are all healthy. You're having that front end of the rotation. They're going in the
Yeah,
front of the series, and they're probably going to pitch in the back end of that series too. So I mean, you can't really blame the rest. And as for the format, it's just we have these huge teams that are winning 100 games, and they have to go down to someone. So
yeah. I think hopefully, I guess as fans of teams that we predict to win 95 plus games every
yeah,
year and win divisions every year. I hope that this year is the anomaly. I guess obviously, like I
yeah,
said, we're
for
both team
sure.
fans of teams that probably will be in that division. I guess pole position most of the time. So hopefully this year with us and y'all and maybe New York, it looks like they're about to move on right now, but
Yeah.
the big teams, the 100 win teams. Hopefully, this is just an anomaly, and our teams can move on next year.
But
Let's
I think
let's
we should move on here
yeah, let's
to
move on. Let's move on to a team that is literally the rebuttal to our format argument. The Houston Astros.
yep.
They were. I'm not. They're 100 plus win team. I'm not sure the exact wins. They literally
they had 100.
100, yeah,
Yeah.
100 plus domination of this series. To be honest with you, I thought that the Mariners had a little bit of what the Padres and the Phillies had going early in game one, as we talked about last week. Yordan Alvarez, I guess when you look back, 2020 vision, hindsight's 2020 vision, Yordan Alvarez's walk-off homer probably won that series before, you know, the games were played.
Yeah.
Probably took all the wild card life and love away from the Mariners that like we said, the Phillies and Padres had. I think, got to give credit to the Mariners. That was a fun story, fun season. Like you said, first playoff berth in over 20 years. I personally believe they're just getting started. They have a lot of young stars, Rodriguez, and then you mix them in with some
Yeah.
guys like Haniger, and hopefully that team
Good
sticks
pitching.
together. They're across the. We
Yeah.
don't pay too much attention to them in the offseason, but hopefully they stick together. I think that they can move on, and I think they can start to begin to make runs, hopefully in the next coming years. But I think we're
Yeah.
looking at the World Series champs that moved on
Yeah.
and beat the Mariners in 3, the Houston
And,
Astros.
and I think, the thing about the Mariners is they're going to have to beat the Astros eventually. But truthfully, I don't even think the Astros really played that well this series. I mean,
No, not
Verlander goes
really.
out there and gives up 6, but they come back. They need another go-ahead homer from Alvarez in game 2. And then game 3, it's 18 innings, no runs. So, I mean, they really didn't play very well. And they're a team that you expect to definitely step it up. Verlander probably won't have that start again. Their guys are going to start to show up for sure.
And
I just like to say,
they just swept and played back.
yeah. And I mean, congrats to the Mariners for a great season and ending a big playoff drought. I'm pretty sure no one had them winning this series anyways, but no one had the Padres or Phillies or, the Guardians. So I got to give it to Astros for showing up in this series and, handling their business. 0 runs in the first home playoff game for the Mariners. Really sad. I mean, 18 innings.
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that.
That's it.
Actually,
Their first.
they played 2 games in T-Mobile Park that
Yeah.
day.
But
No
I
runs
think,
in 2 games.
like you were saying, the Astros should, potentially be the World Series champs if they take care of business. They have the best hitter in the playoffs. That's up for debate if you think Harper is or, Judge, of course.
I'd say right now it's probably Jordan. I can't argue
Yeah,
with
I
that.
mean, in the playoffs at least,
Yep,
for sure.
right now,
And they have
for
a great
sure.
bullpen and guys in lineup who have a ton of postseason experience. So, congrats to the Astros.
My mind when you think about the Astros, my mind just immediately it runs to that. Gurriel, Bregman,
Yeah,
Altuve, and now you have Alvarez. You got Tucker in the fold, and Correa was a part of that group. But losing him, you'd get a guy in Pena who literally hits
hits
a
a home
go-ahead
run. Yeah,
homer in Game 3. Like they're too good,
it's
and I
yeah.
think I will get into the ALCS as the week moves on, but I think the Astros should not have any problem moving on
And
to the
yeah,
World Series.
so for the ALCS, as we're recording, I have the Yankees game on in the background there.
Still 5-1.
6, yeah, they're 6 outs away from advancing. They're up 4. We can go and assume they're probably going to advance,
Yeah.
and
So,
bearing some Guardians miracle. But
well, hey, I
I think
mean,
that's all we have
Guardians.
for baseball, though.
I guess Guardians push it to Game 5. Let's give them their
Yeah,
kudos, man. I kind of expected them to get swept. So let me say I
yeah.
was wrong and tip my cap and
And
say
I had Guardians in 5. So I guess they took it there. So
we're both wrong. So this should
yeah,
be a really really interesting though couple series as sad as it is that we're gone, but it'll be some good games. I hope so. So let's move on. I guess rewind back to
yeah,
Saturday, and like I said, man, this weekend reminded me why I love Saturdays so much and why when every fall comes around, it's like Christmas to me, man. This week, you had upsets, you had tight games, you had big crowds, you had streaks broken, and you had great games from kickoff at noon through
yeah.
Pac-12 after dark.
And
So,
I mean, just a note for that, like, that even this upcoming week that we're going to highlight, there's not games even close to as good as
no.
these
Well,
games.
you
Not
never
so
know how they'll turn out,
you're
but
right, but you have to, these weeks you can't take for granted for sure.
we saw I guess when you say that, we kind of did see it coming, but it definitely
Yeah,
it lived up to all our hype. And I'll get it started with you. The noon kick,
yeah.
the big Fox noon kickoff, Michigan at home versus Penn State. What you got, TJ?
So yeah, Michigan wins this one in the big house, 41-17. That's quite good for a 25-point margin
That
against the
is
top
24.
2024. Yeah, so huge
George
top 10.
Southern.
As we kind of predicted last week, Michigan flexes their muscles here a little bit and whips up on Penn State. Um, and as we were talking about in the last episode, Michigan's dominant run game, just dismantling Penn State's front seven. It was kind of
No,
crazy to
no
watch.
Parsons. They didn't have Parsons.
But some of their guys they did have some of the guys Michigan had, their running backs, Donovan Edwards, 16 carries, 173 yards, good for 2 touchdowns. To go along with Blake Corum's 28 carries, 166 yards, and another 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
I mean, just phenomenal. Does this, I
Crazy.
mean, and I'll ask you, like, does this not show how scary Michigan can be, considering they just destroyed a top 10 team and they had very minimal like quarterback play from McCarthy. I think he only threw for 140 yards, no touchdowns, one pick. I mean, that's a great run game. I
I
mean,
think Michigan had a great run game last year, though, too. I think you do need to see
yeah,
it. As a Georgia fan, they were great. They were supposed to actually. I think we were favored when we played them, but they were
mhm,
supposed to have a stout run game, and they were one dimensional. So while that run game is so good, you would like to see McCarthy just have a big game or two before the season's end.
yeah,
And
of
even if it's
course.
one of those cupcake games, you'd like to see him light up a couple more times, just
They
to make
still
you believe
play.
in them a little bit
They
more.
still play Michigan State, right?
I think
That's going to
that's
be later in
every year.
November. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then
so that
obviously the
maybe,
big game at the end of the
yeah,
year.
which maybe they might not throw it as much in that game. But yeah,
They
it's certainly a great game at noon. Michigan just wiped the floor with them.
dismantled them. I guess we
Yeah,
could have. I
it's
think we all kind of saw that one
and
coming as well.
exactly, like we said, Penn State loses another game,
It's what they do.
that they could potentially win and actually show people who they could be. But of
Show some
course, they
heart,
go
but
and they Franklin and Clifford, they showed no heart. Clifford had a
goodbye,
horrible game.
Clifford.
Yeah.
That's finally Clifford's last game versus Michigan. All right.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
6 game.
3:30, man. That 3:30 was the time of Saturday. You had my dogs playing, but I'll just say we
Yeah.
whipped Vandy. That was great to watch. We're not going to go over that one, but what we are going to go over real quick right here, or elaborate on, actually not real quick. Let's talk about this one for a second.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Bama. If you live in the South, like football, or even have a pulse, you heard about this one coming in to last week in a top 6 matchup inside Neyland Stadium with College Game Day on the campus of the University of Tennessee. 3:30 kick in Knoxville was bound to be a good one, and boy, we got one.
It sure was.
52-49, Tennessee with a knuckleballer kick from 40 to go in. Bama came into this game as 9-point favorites, signifying that the public, including you and Mikey, actually, I picked Tennessee to win this one, and
Yeah.
Vegas's
No,
opinion
yeah.
that
I
Bama would win
certainly
this
picked
game.
Bama.
But the Vols had a different idea. Hendon Hooker threw for over 380 yards. He threw for 5 touchdowns, along with 14 carries and 56
5
yards on the
touchdowns.
ground.
Yeah.
And then what can you say about Jalen Hyatt's Randy Moss-esque 6 catches, 270 yards, and 5 receiving
That's
touchdowns?
just what this game needed.
Had the goalpost out of Neyland. Was it the 17 penalties, TJ, or was Tennessee going to win this one the whole way?
That's a tough question. I'll say the 17 penalties just because that amounts to way too many yards. Yards that you convert into touchdowns somewhere. At some facet, there's a touchdown in there, that you end up getting if you don't commit that penalty. And I mean, to your point, I'm going to just say Bama is definitely not done.
No.
But certainly they need to clean up the penalties because that's horrible. 17 penalties.
School record.
That's something that Dallas has done to get them kicked out of the playoffs. So, definitely got to clean that up. And that's certainly something we don't, rarely ever see with Nick Saban teams. So I'm sure he's upset. And just as a spectator, a fan, though, this game was awesome. We had the comeback from Bama. They were down, 28-10. They come storming all the way back.
Get up.
Just for them to get up 7, leading some of us to think, oh, they're going to run away with this. Classic Bama. Nope. Jalen Hyatt, like you said, once in a lifetime performance, 5 touchdowns, brings Tennessee right back into this, and then they hold on to win. It's just simply incredible.
With another missed kick from a Bama kicker.
And they ripped the goalpost out, biggest game in Neyland history. Very, very special.
Man, you know what Tennessee gets for winning that one?
Yeah,
just a date in a couple of weeks with the Bulldogs. So hope you enjoying that one.
And that's going to be even bigger. So it's
going to be fun.
Pretty good. It's pretty good outlook for college football for sure.
Finally, the SEC East. Man, I if I would have told you before the game, though, take the names away. You have Team A versus Team B. if I told you Team B committed 17 penalties, you'd probably tell me Team A
Yeah.
was going to win that football game.
Yeah, I would
So
say that for
let's
sure.
not take too
Pump the
much,
brakes a little.
too
Okay,
much,
but
too much from Tennessee right now. Right now, not yet. If they beat us or play us tight, I'll start to think, okay, they're really, really a top 5, top 6 team. Obviously, they are. They beat Alabama, but
yeah,
they're really going to show me because, like I said, I'm not going to take anything away from Tennessee. They won the game at home. They did what they had to. But Bama, like I said, 17 penalties. I told somebody earlier, it may have been you, it may have been somebody else. Even if they commit 3 or 5 less penalties,
yeah.
Bama probably wins this game. So,
So I have a question
SEC.
for you though. I mean, do you think so? Would you still go with Stroud as the Heisman, or do you think Hooker is kind of the guy? He's kind of the guy.
Well, I
He had
think
a great
that's
game, man.
I think you make a point there, like what we were seeing. Who said that earlier? Was that Max Kellerman? Somebody.
It was
No, McElroy.
McElroy.
Greg
Yeah,
McElroy. He had Hooker because he's got the Heisman moment. I think that Stroud is
he
actually
does.
going
Yeah,
to benefit, though, from that cupcake schedule. And that Hooker, if he beats Georgia or is like rips it up against Georgia and loses in a shootout, then you're like, okay, I'll
yeah.
say Hooker's the
This
guy.
could be the guy. Yeah,
I think that Stroud benefits, though, from the
it's
fact that Hooker
Stroud's.
still may
It's
have a
still
loss.
Stroud's to lose.
Hooker may have a couple
Yeah,
losses coming up in a couple weeks. Like even
yeah, yeah.
Kentucky or, people want to go ahead and say Tennessee's 11-1. Well,
They do have
people
some
that's
cupcakes, though. They do have some cupcakes.
the SEC humility is a week away. So I
I
don't know.
know what you're
You can
saying,
make a
but
point though for both
they
both
play
arguments.
Vanderbilt still, bro, and I'm pretty sure they play Missouri still.
Yeah, they have a
They
UT
play,
Martin
you
too.
know,
So
UT Martin. Yeah, exactly. You want to move on here, or anything else you want to
yeah.
touch on?
That was a great game though.
Yeah,
That was
it was
fantastic.
awesome.
I'm going to kick it over to I know you love a little Big 12 football, so I was just going to let you take this one over. TCU
Yeah.
at home versus the Okie State Cowboys, man. What happened in this one, TJ?
So this was definitely another 12 o'clock kickoff, but probably one of the wilder, more slept on games we had this weekend. Tennessee takes a victory, 43-40 in double OT. And I think this makes the outlook look very clear for the Big 12 after this one. TCU should be the favorites. Everyone has to go through them as they've looked very impressive against ranked teams, Oklahoma, and pretty much everyone they've played. TCU is one of the only 9 teams that are left undefeated. And as we move forward towards next week, they play 17 Kansas State. That's going to be at TCU, though. And they open as 4-point favorites. I'll go ahead and I guess make an early prediction. They should beat Kansas State by 4, I would think.
Big 12 is so sketchy this year.
It's so sketchy, yeah.
It's
But
so sketchy.
This is TCU's first time in the top 10 since 2017, I believe.
That sounds about right, yeah.
And the interesting about the Horned Frogs is if they stay undefeated, let's say November, December, they're really going to push for a spot in the college football playoff.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, I could certainly see it happening if they win the Big 12 undefeated.
Gosh, it's just like,
It's
man, it's just
hard,
so
dude.
tough because now you're looking at some conferences. SEC's got 4 schools potentially. Big Ten's got 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Pac-12, like we're about to
And
hit on here, it's got a
yeah,
couple. I mean,
and I think for like Oklahoma State, the road is kind of slowing down on them. They're at home this week, but they're playing Texas, so Texas has looked pretty impressive the last few weeks. But yeah, as for TCU, I mean, top 10
still
team,
undefeated.
undefeated. I guess they really want that, college football playoff.
You can't take it away from them until they lose, for
Yeah,
sure, man.
and then they'll play who will they play in the Big 12?
Dude, that's
Texas,
what I'm saying. I don't know. There's there's 1 loss, 2 loss. I
Kansas
need to go
State is
look at
one
that. Like
loss.
there's teams that can
Yeah,
get in that are that conference it's kind of bonkers, but I like
yeah.
it. So
But yeah,
and
that's all I've got here. You have anything to add to this TCU
I mean, like I said,
Okie
that
State matchup?
TCU, you're undefeated another week. Keep it going, and then you'll earn some more respect from me as we move forward.
Yep.
How about an undefeated top 10 team, USC, going on the road at Utah? Like I said last week, they're playing for probably a little bit more than I felt than Utah was. They're still hopeful for the playoff and pole position at number 1, undefeated in the Pac-12. I personally thought USC was not only going to cover, but win outright. They did end up covering, but with a ballsy 2-point conversion play at the end of regulation time. Utah wins this game 43-42 to honor some players that Utah had that had formerly passed away. This was a very emotional night in Salt Lake City. The Utes pulled it out at the end, and man, I love nothing more than seeing a coach say, I'm going for the win. I believe in my guys. I'm going to give my guys a chance. And that's exactly what USC's coach did. Down 7, they scored a touchdown. And like I said, went for 2 with a Cam Rising scramble, rushing touchdown. I can't say enough about Utah and what they do every year. They always seem to rebound and stay alive in the Pac-12. And I also can't say enough about the fact that Lincoln Riley is one of the most overrated coaches in college football history. But what can you say about that, TJ?
Well, I think as we're seeing from Utah, they're definitely a great team. They lost week 1, but they're stepping up.
That
In
was
all
a
fashion.
tough road environment for them, man.
It was, and Florida.
No matter what you say about Florida, that was a tough road game.
And Florida's not really good, so that's really all that I take away from it. Is Utah is just playing great. And I believe, don't they play Oregon? I think game day is going there actually
this week.
I think it's Utah and Oregon. I'm not 100% sure, but Utah's in the top 10, right?
Utah is 15, and they go to Oregon way later this year.
Okay, so I think game day's going to Oregon this week. I'm not.
Yes,
Oregon, UCLA.
Oregon, UCLA.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, that's the big game this week, right? For sure.
Yeah, this slate kind of sucks, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oregon, I need Oregon by 14. That's going to make Georgia look real good. By the way, and the Oregon is for you viewers out there, Oregon is ranked higher, Jake. Oregon is ranked higher than when Georgia played them. So that's how good Georgia is. But let's go to our top 4s.
Wait, so what's Oregon ranked now?
They're 10. I think they were.
Oh, they were 12.
They were 11. They were 11 when we played them, because there's 3 versus 11. But let me not get too biased. Let's continue on with the show, man. Top 4, TJ.
Did you? Okay, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you hit me, man. Let's go.
So I'll go 4 for 4. I'll go Michigan. They've shown no reason for them to not be in the top 4. They were in the top 4 last year.
I agree.
They've been even more dominant this year. Number 3, Tennessee, huge win versus Bama. I think you have to give them the spot for now. Number 2, my 2 and 1 are going to be the same. I'll go for number 2. It'll be Georgia, and 1 Ohio State. Georgia took care of business. Whooped up down Vandy, and then Ohio State didn't play. So I don't think I can discredit them for not playing this week. So yeah, that's my top 4.
Sure. Yeah.
Because we have very similar ones.
Yeah, you can keep riding with the Buckeyes at 1, but yes, we have the same number 4, number 3. I have Michigan at 4 after a big top 10 win. I don't know if Penn State's really a top 10 team, but they were last week. So you have to give Michigan the credit for that. Tennessee at 3, flip-flopping with Bama. They can potentially move up as the weeks go on. And for me, like I said, I've got Georgia at 1, the Buckeyes at 2. Nothing's changed from my poll last week. Nothing's changed from the playoff poll with these 2 teams in the last week. So I guess that's my explanation for it. And I'm just going to put Georgia there because I'm a Georgia fan, and they're 1 in the poll. So I'm going to give them that credit. They deserve it.
I'm not going to give it. I'll give it to Georgia when Ohio State doesn't beat a team by 30. I think they have like 5 straight. So that's.
Yeah, no, you have a point. And there's arguments for both sides, but I've always thought the defending champ should be 1 until they're not anymore. And since we've gotten that spot back, I think if we continue to play like we should, it should not be relinquished. Let's get to the NFL, though, man. It was a great Saturday, but Sunday and Monday provided as always, too.
Yeah, go ahead and kick it off.
1 o'clock. TJ, he was recovering from that Dodgers loss, so I watched the first hour of these games for the most part by myself.
Recovering.
It was a tough loss.
Recovering. It's freaking 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Still recovering.
It's all good, man. Well, I'm not going to go too far into my Falcons, but we did improve to 3-3 with a win over the Niners, who y'all have heard me say it. I'm super high on. I thought the Niners were going to beat us this week, punch us in the mouth, play good D. That is literally the opposite of what happened. We ran the ball 40 times for 168 yards as a team. Mariota ran in a touchdown. The Niners, like I said, they actually had the number 1 run defense before this. Falcons ran all over them. It's just good to see Atlanta finally playing physical, not playing Charmin soft defense and running the football a little bit. My favorite story of the year so far continues, though, is my man Bailey Zappi is living up to the Brady comparisons. Continues to win as a starter for the Patriots, 38-15 on the road against the Cleveland Browns. I love the story. People are making up fake stories about Mac Jones. I'm literally loving every single part of it because we both know that Mac Jones is a starter and that Zappi is playing while he's hurt. But I like it. If it's
We'll see,
continuing,
man.
I'll stick with it. And last for me at 1:00, the Bengals come back down, or I guess Burrow and Chase, but come back down. But the Bengals come down to New Orleans, play the Saints, 30-26 win. Start off a little bit slow. You're like, man, how are Burrow and Chase going to come back down
Yeah.
after last time they played there was with LSU and lay an egg? And
Oh
then all of a
yeah.
sudden Chase, he's got his catches, his receptions. He
And
had
then
2
he
touchdowns.
goes for a 70-yard touchdown. It's like
It literally was
Yeah.
beginning to look just like LSU playing in the 2019 national title game. Bengals 30-26, Falcons 3-3, and Bailey Zappi is the man.
Yeah,
That's my takeaways from one.
I think, and I'm pretty sure. I think the Patriots are one of those 3-3 teams. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they are.
Yes.
So my takeaways: the Ravens fall to 3-3. At what point are these fourth quarter blown leads starting to get concerning?
Yeah.
Lamar didn't really play that well this game. The Giants, they're now 5-1. Definitely got to give them their credit. They look to be in an incredible competitive division moving forward. All these NFC East teams are going to be playing the AFC South, which is a little bit of a less competitive division. A
little favorable, very favorable.
You got the Jaguars, the Texans, the Colts, and the Titans, all games that the Giants could potentially win. Yeah. And one of the more surprising things to me, how bad Aaron Rodgers has been. This is again another kind of thing with the Ravens. How concerning is this for Rodgers? Yeah. He's really not getting that chemistry with his receivers. It's pretty concerning. Also, Minnesota, they're 5-1. They have a 2-game lead in the NFC North, right? Yeah. The only division in football in which the leader has 2 games.
Wow.
Yeah. So the Vikings certainly trying to put away, the Packers, because the Packers are always kind of whipping on them and, beating them when it counts. So
they need that early lead for sure.
That's what I've got. So I think it was a great NFL, Sunday at 1, I guess. So
I guess we'll go. We're not in chronological. We'll go to Dallas first, and then we'll go Buffalo, Kansas City. So give me Dallas, man. What was that like watching Rush throw 3 picks?
Yeah. So Dallas gets beat here by 9 in Philly behind Cooper Rush's 3 turnovers. Thank God for that. Low key.
It does take away a little controversy for sure.
To give Philly their credit, they're an extremely good football team, just because they seem to be a very complete team. Great quarterback play, good run game. Their secondary is awesome, and they have good offensive and defensive line play.
Yeah.
4 weeks ago, I was saying, okay, Dak's gone. Like, for 4 to 6 weeks, we need a weather storm here. Go 2-2, maybe 2-3, kind of find ourselves still in it.
You aren't the only one too.
Yeah. And, it's safe to say that the storm has been weathered as Rush went 4-1 in his time as a starter. And I cannot be more proud of him, or proud of the Cowboys, I should say, for, putting that adversity behind and, winning ball games. His contributions were awesome. It looks like Dak's going to return this week, though, against the Lions. And I think all the questions about the offense are going to start being answered.
Yeah.
Also, another quick note. So I was watching First Take this morning, and First Take yesterday. So Monday.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Monday morning.
Yeah.
So
yesterday.
Mike Greenberg, he said he thinks that if this team starts to fire on all cylinders, like we've seen them do with Dak, then the Cowboys should be the favorites to come out of the NFC with the Packers and Bucks looking to be down this year. We know the Cowboys have beaten the Giants all the time in the past. We know the Cowboys
did this year. You already did this year.
Yeah, we know the Cowboys have beaten the Vikings. These are like the top teams. Like, we know Dallas can beat Philly with Dak. I don't see why not here. I mean, what do you think?
I actually, I'll be honest, bro. Like, I'm not even just saying. I really don't think that's a stretch.
It's certainly
if Dak comes back and plays like he's capable of playing,
yes,
that exactly. Is not a stretch.
It's not a stretch. We have to see that from Dak.
Not crazy to say that.
I certainly have to see it as well from Dak. But like we were talking about,
freaking 4-1 with Rush, man.
I know, but
like
Prescott's also going 4-1. Plus, we're playing
I
teams.
know, but you still went 4-1.
And I've said this before, but we're playing the Lions and the Bears. They've got a bye week. They're playing the
still got
Commanders.
the AFC South coming.
We have all the teams in the
Man, that
AFC South:
schedule's easy.
Texans, Jags, Titans, and Colts. We still have all of them. We
Well,
play
the Titans aren't easy, but that's an easy schedule.
yeah, it's an easy schedule, but certainly I'm okay with this loss as a Cowboys fan. Certainly hurts. I hate Philly, hate everything about them, but I'm okay moving forward
And
with
y'all
this.
are pretty healthy too. So now that
Yeah,
Jack's back, especially. So yeah,
yeah.
great game by Dallas, and then obviously Philly looks fantastic. Buffalo at Kansas City,
This was a great one.
and one of the most highly anticipated rematches in the regular season I can remember. Josh Allen led the Bills into Arrowhead to face against old Patty Mahomes and his Chiefs. And you know how much I like Mahomes, but I'm just as high on Allen as I am Mahomes. This is just like Brady and Manning. You actually literally heard the announcer saying the
Yeah.
same thing. And then just like last year's regular season matchup of these teams, the Bills came out on top 24-20, as Tony Romo literally predicted in like the first quarter, if y'all were listening to that game.
I remember listening to it, and I
Pretty
was like, hold
wild,
on.
bro. Like,
This is he could be nails. He could be. I was like, he could be spot on here.
and he was
Of
spot
course.
on, man.
Yeah.
These guys, man, Allen and Mahomes, they never let us down. They dueled it out to the very end. You saw Allen on that scoring drive hurdle a guy, give his everything he had to win that game. But like I said, Buffalo did win last year in the regular season. They may see each other again in the playoffs. I was just happy to see the Bills close out the Chiefs on defense. It felt eerie when the Bills scored with 1:04 to go. You're like, man, the Chiefs can
Yeah.
really do it
Yeah.
again. They could come back and score quick. They don't
And
need
then,
that much time, but the Bills pick off Mahomes and come out of KC with a win. Again, another great matchup between these teams and these players, man. Even Diggs and Kelsey were electric again, as expected.
hmm So yeah, you're spot on with everything. This was a phenomenal regular season game, and I mean, as a fan, you can't really ask for more. Except we have to in this case. We need to see these teams play in the playoffs
Yep.
again, without a doubt. I mean,
only right.
It's only right, and I feel like it's almost kind of inevitable. They will meet up. It's just a matter of where. And
when.
I think it's gonna be Buffalo. I think Buffalo's gonna have the better, regular season record, and they're gonna have the home field. And then
Well, that win.
that should lead them to potentially beating the Chiefs finally when it matters.
They said that win's like a 2-game lead.
Yeah,
right? I mean, yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'll just say I think Buffalo is the best team in the NFL. I think you probably do too. Eagles are undefeated still, but I think we're all taking Buffalo over Philly if they played.
Today, yeah, sure. I'll take
got
Buffalo,
Allen.
but Philly's rolling. I don't know if that game's played in Philadelphia or Buffalo, that makes a difference. But
so who's the MVP then? Is it Allen?
It's Allen. Yeah, I said Lamar last week, but I'll go with Allen this week because Lamar is, like you said, there's fourth quarter comebacks. At some point, you got to point the finger at the team and at the quarterback. So, yeah, it's Allen right now. But hey, let's go over real quick as we're rounding the show up, man. Let's go over our props to pop from Thursday and give me something for tonight, maybe, or some of these NBA games that we got going on, which we will touch on soon.
Hallelujah. NBA's back. NBA is back, and despite this show just being me and Ethan really talking about football and baseball, we do love basketball, so there will definitely be some basketball coverage.
On basketball Thursday for sure.
But I'll go and say my prop to pop last week was Josh Allen over 2.5 passing touchdowns. He did hit that. This third touchdown smack to Dawson Knox. This isn't even like 2.5 is not even the line.
Well, that is his line, actually. I
guess
it really? You saw that. Yeah. You said you had bonus points, but no, that literally is his line.
I cut that out. But anyways, mine for tonight is going to be Klay Thompson over what is it? 1.5 threes.
1.5. I think that's the last time I saw it is 1.5.
So definitely look for him to get 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they're playing the Lakers tonight. As y'all may have seen on my Twitter, man, my prop to pop cashed. On the last drive of Thursday night's game, Justin Fields went over his 172.5 passing yards prop. Mikey missed. Wentz only threw for 99 yards. You literally could have predicted that. But real quick before we go, what a bad beat last night. DraftKings boosted Justin Herbert from -800 to +100 for 1 touchdown, and he's gotten it 36 out of 37 times. He doesn't get it.